At the end of 2025, I took a look at my Roth IRA's contributions, and for the first time in my life, I'm glad to say that I maxed mine out. I'm gonna show you exactly how I did it so that you can do it yourself faster and better going into 2026. The first thing I want you to do is set up a system. The second you leave this up to manual work, like, oh, on this week, I'm gonna invest X amount of dollars, and the next week, no, you're gonna lose motivation and it's gonna be June and you would have only contributed like $100. So you're gonna go into your brokerage account and you're gonna set up two things. One is automatic transfers from your bank account to your Roth IRA. Secondly, you're gonna set up automatic investments. This is what I did at the beginning of 2025. Now, to calculate how much you want your monthly automatic transfer to be, just take the contribution limit for 2026, $7,500, divided by 12, 625. If you want to set it automatically for each paycheck like I do, you can divide it up by the number of times you get paid every month. So in my case, semi-monthly, $312.50. Set that to the same days you get paid every month and make that your automatic transfer. And now come with me as I show you how to set this all up on Fidelity.
1 hour later.
I changed my mind. I'm going to show you how to do it on your phone because I imagine that is the easiest for a lot of you, especially if you're just getting started, instead of having to go on your computer and do a whole bunch of extra clicking. With that being said, you're going to want to set up an account if you haven't already. I've used Fidelity for years. I can vouch for them extremely. Link is in the description below if you would like to sign up with them as well. Sign up, open a Roth IRA, and then on the home page, you're going to see a big green button at the bottom of your screen. Click that and then click the automate button. And then the first automation, like we had mentioned, is to set up automatic transfers. So it's going to take you to another screen. There's going to be two boxes. The first box is going to be your bank account, which you need to link. And that's where funds will be coming from to the Roth IRA, which is what you'll select in the second box. Next, you want to select the frequency. You can set it to monthly. And if you want to max it out, then you will set the amount to $625 every month, but it can be any amount if you don't have that available. Choose a start date, click review, click submit, you're good to go. Go back to the homepage, click that green button again, click automate again, and this time you're gonna click set up recurring investments. It's gonna take you to another page. You're going to select up to 10 different stocks or ETFs you'd like to invest in, and for each one, it'll let you set a dollar amount for the recurring investment. I think it shows you a total somewhere. After that, once again, select the frequency. It doesn't have to be the same as the frequency that you chose for recurring transfers. But if you want to keep things simple and consistent, then you can match it up. So monthly, bi-weekly. Choose a start date for this one, and then it'll also allow you to pick the day of the month that you want this transaction to be done for you. Click the button at the bottom to review, make sure everything is good, click submit, and that's all.
2 hours later.
One of the other lessons I learned in 2025 was to stop timing the markets. You hear this all the time, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, but so many times I was waiting for the next dip. I was waiting for stocks to recover, even waiting for my next paycheck. Now, on that point, what I started to do towards the end was become more spontaneous with my Roth IRA contributions. It was like this flow state. So if I had some extra money to spare, here and there, I would do the manual transfer in addition to my recurring automatic transfers. Now, like I said, in 2025, I did the semi-monthly automatic transfers, but going into 2026, I'm just going to shoot out lump sum transfers to get to the $7,500 contribution as quickly as possible. The reason why I'm doing this is that I just recently learned that making lump sum transfers / investments to your Roth IRA actually shows slightly better performance versus the typical dollar cost averaging. Of course, I had to look it up myself, but the numbers do show that is true. Now, I've seen videos of people who just sit on a bunch of cash, and once January 1st comes, they transfer the whole contribution, and then from there, they invest into their ETFs, their stocks, or whatever. More power to you. One day we'll all get there. And speaking of ETFs and stocks, and what I'm about to say is probably going to be considered taboo by some people, this is not financial advice. I know the consensus is new investors should always go for ETFs, and I agree. Me personally, someone who has invested for several years and has always gravitated towards picking individual stocks, is exactly what I've done for my Roth IRA investments. And my returns have done pretty well year over year. Now, here's my personal thoughts. Start off with ETFs, but if you get to a point where you're very comfortable, especially if you're young like me in your 20s and can have a higher risk profile, then maybe ease into the top performers in the S&P 500. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla. In my opinion, I feel like these are no-brainers. They are just so gigantic and are still pooling money into different investments and innovations that they're not going anywhere. Another name for these types of companies are blue chip stocks. And who knows, there could be some overlap. These companies could be companies that you also happen to use on a daily basis. I mean, I've built 3 or 4 computers for myself and my family, and all of them have had an NVIDIA graphics card. We use Google every day. I have an Apple product. I shop at Walmart from time to time. I have a Costco membership. All my computers have Microsoft Windows. The list goes on and on. So, just a little food for thought, but again, not financial advice. Moving on, the next lesson I learned was to stop being so hard on myself, expecting myself to know it all at my young age. And I learned this lesson from this book that I've been reading because I want to start reading again in 2026 called The Psychology of Money. And I got to one of the chapters and the author points out the fact that the Roth IRA was only created in 1998. I didn't know that, which means that if it were a person, it would, 1, only be 3 years older than me, and 2, it would also be a Gen Zer. So we see all these different financial instruments, and we say to ourselves that we need to be a master at it, and any slight deviation from perfection means that we are a failure. And that is just not the case. Like, we're all still trying to master this. They didn't give us a rule book when they created this thing, or even the 401k. No, we're still trying to navigate this, and this is where the systems like automatic transfers and picking ETFs or whatever stocks come into play. So again, don't be so hard on yourself. The next lesson I learned in Roth IRA investing in 2025 also comes from this book. And it's the fact that money matters are more behavioral than something you can confine to a science or math. I could have said that in 2025, I'm going to max out my contributions and just wing it. But instead, I matched my actions, my intentions with my goals. And maxing it out for 1 year is cool and all, but can I challenge myself? And can I max it out for this year and 2027 and 2028 and so on and so forth? I think so. The next takeaway, and this is a big one, is that you should never treat your Roth IRA or any retirement account for that matter as a savings account. Now, earlier this year, I pulled out some of my 2024 contributions to reinvest that money into a different asset. And if you're lucky, maybe in a year, 2 or 3, I will make a video about that. And I'll say that since this is a reinvestment of cash, instead of spending it on something, that this is justifiable. But if I were to do it all over again, I would have left it untouched and just waited and saved the money externally and used that for this investment in question. Now you're probably wondering, Eman, how the heck were you able to even withdraw from your Roth IRA? I thought you're not allowed to do so at 59.5. That is true, but that is only for any capital gains or your return on your investment, not initial contributions. By the way, if you didn't know, Roth IRAs are tax advantage, meaning that the money you're putting in is already taxed. So when you take it out when you're 60 years old, you don't have to pay taxes again. But with that being said, If you ever need some sort of emergency money, make sure you have a high yield savings account open. This is going to get you the maximum interest rate. You want to beat inflation. You want to get interest on your money while it sits in that account, and save up 3 to 6 months of expenses and use that whenever you have a rainy day or any sort of situation. Doesn't necessarily have to be an emergency, but you want to leave your retirement accounts untouched. You just want to keep on adding to them, and you want to keep on compounding. The very last lesson, and I think this one is the most important one, is you need to figure out your cash flow, because your rate of savings matters more than how much you're putting in. So if you all remember the Mint app from back in the day, that app, man, I miss it so much. You used to use it to track everything, your budget, your expenses, your net worth. And ever since it went away, I couldn't really find one that really resonated with me. So I decided to use my Excel skills to create my own budget/net worth file. And it's been working pretty well. And I say this because you need to have something that allows you to audit yourself. You need to create a budget. You need to stay by that budget. And if there's any anomalies or overspend, you need to be able to pinpoint exactly what's going on so that you can determine whether you need to cut down on that and open up more cash access that you can then use to put into savings or in your investments. And for me, it was things like redundant subscriptions to several different companies that kind of offer the same thing. Why do I need that? Gone. Or maybe through active budget tracking, I was able to see that I was ordering Uber Eats way too much and that I should be buying more groceries instead. Because think about it, a business audits itself to flag any areas of concern, especially from a monetary standpoint. So why not do the same for ourselves? Who knows the amount of savings you can have? And that leads me to the next bonus tip. If you've heard all of this and you've been demotivated from even contributing anything, or saying to yourself that I'm not making enough this year, once I get this better job in 2027, I'll start contributing, you need to stop yourself right there. And you need to tell yourself that even if it's $10, $50, or $100 every month or every other month, put that into your Roth IRA as soon as possible. You need to have exposure to different asset classes as early as possible, because that's how it compounds. The difference of 5 to 10 years of when you start investing can determine whether your overall balance or overall net worth is $200,000 versus $500,000 versus $5 million. And you can look up a whole bunch of different calculators for yourself for compound interest and see it for yourself. And for the TLDR version, what I'm doing in 2026 is that I'm going to continue to invest in my blue chip stocks, maybe an ETF or two here or there. And I'm probably going to transfer my growth stocks, which are companies that are still in the growth stage, but even though there's a higher growth potential, there's also a slightly higher risk, to my individual brokerage account, because that really doesn't match the energy of a retirement savings account. I'm also going to max out my Roth IRA as early as possible so that my cash can have as much exposure to the market throughout the year as possible. Because like I said, that seems to perform better compared to dollar cost averaging. From here on out, any money that enters the Roth IRA is never coming out until I am 59 and a half years old. And lastly, just to increase my discipline of tracking everything from expenses to investments, I am also going to start logging contributions as well as the capital gains in the budget tracker that I made. And that's the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will make sure to get through all of them. I hope you learned something today. I wish you the best of luck as you contribute to your Roth IRA in 2026. Have a nice day. I'll see you next time. Take care.